Today we are very honored to have with us the vice chief of this area. Hello everyone. I'm the general manager of this place, Li Xiaona, and today we'd like to take you on a tour to this service hall. If you like coffee, you can present your identity card to get a coffee for free. And then you can take a brochure with you. We have a brochure that states the guidelines for the service here. With this single brochure, you can have a good idea of how everything runs here. Because the low altitude flight is very new, so people might be very interested. And here we need a security check, and people are not sure what kind of items they are allowed to take or not. So they need some information from the service hall. That's why we have prepared this brochure to give them a better idea. And also you can get connected to the WeChat applications and to have a good idea of the service here. And you can buy the ticket through the WeChat applications and also from this machine. Now with this identity card, you can present it to the staff, and the staff will help you get the ticket. So this is how we get the ticket on site. There are some passengers who are not sure about how to use the WeChat applications, so they might need help from this machine. And actually, this is wholly automatic. We don't have too many people surrounding the machine. And so we prefer to recommend you to use the WeChat applications, just like using the applications to enjoy the metro service. It's the same. Now we have the ticket with the barcode, and on the back of the ticket, there are some instructions. Actually, this is also my first time to get a souvenir ticket from this machine. I noticed that there is a weight machine. So why do you prepare this facility here? Because if you're going on board, there are some requirements about the weight of the passengers. So for the civil airplanes, there are some specific requirements. Each passenger should not weigh more than 75 kilograms. Say if there are 100 passengers, then we will have ceiling about the total weight of the passengers. So we prepared this weighing scale. We also have instructions about the passenger's weight on the WeChat applications. So if you want to experience the unmanned airplane experience, you should follow the instructions. And also to keep your weight below 85% kilograms. Here we have some souvenirs for display, because we think the unmanned airplane has ushered in a new era for our economy. So we have designed a lot of souvenirs for the customers. We also offer a set of courses for the passengers or for the students who might be interested in these souvenirs when they study the courses here. We also have the cups and also some self-aided Lego and the puzzles. The passengers, especially the kids, will have something to learn from these souvenirs. And these cups are for outdoor experience. So you have collected so many souvenirs for the kids. It's good for them to start their interest about the airplane experience from a young age. I think it's good for the children, especially for them to develop their interest about the low altitude economy from a young age. To pass the security check, you need to be careful about your phone charging facilities, and if they are not allowed on board, so you can store your item here in this locker. And with your facial recognition, you can open the locker again after you get off the plane. So this airplane experience is quite the same as taking an ordinary civil airplane. Exactly. Yes, our security check staff are also qualified and trained. And they need to renew their qualifications once they expire. That's all what we need for ensuring the security of the whole flight and the passengers. Exactly, security is what we aim for this flight. Here we have presented some certificates about our experience because many passengers are not familiar with our work. This certificate is about the AI operation of our airplane, and that was presented in 2023. Our company was established in 2014, and now we have surpassed we are into the first 10 decade. We also have a certificate for the eligibility of our operation, conferred by the local administration of air service. Actually, not only in China, but also across the whole world, that is a rare certificate. We are among the first batch of the air companies to get this certificate. Well, that certificate is about the civil unmanned flight, and highly relates to the commercialization of the unmanned flights. But as we prioritize the security of the flight and the passengers, we are very cautious about this experience. We are still doing the stressful test. For example, the weight that is allowed to carry. For example, we are doing the experiment to carry the weight of the rice pads, the rice parcels, instead of real humans. We have done around 400 times of a stressful test lately. So after it officially goes into operation, that already a solid foundation has been laid. Now this is the waiting area for getting on board. We have prepared a VCR on this screen. People can watch before they take on board. And this screen will give you the instructions when you get on board, or during the flight, and after you when you get off board. These instructions are very helpful to make people rest assured about the whole flight experience. Well, from my understanding, I think it's the same like taking a unmanned driving experience. when I took such an experience in the waiting area, I was also quite anxious about the whole experience because there was nobody to help. For many people, taking a flight is even more anxious. Actually, that is all the nature. That is so natural for you to feel anxious. So we need some psychological interventions and to give you some instructions for you to know the flight experience better. After watching the instructions, people will have the knowledge about the flight experience and their tension will ease. And I think that will also take time for people to gain more knowledge about the area. And everything takes time. For example, today's live stream is also one of our campaign for science popularization. We aim to give the audience more knowledge about the third form of the transportation. When I talk to people, I always say that when the car was invented, the car was carried on by the cart. So I think you always need to take a step forward in promoting our human civilization. I think humanity's life is so related to transportation. Say, if I'm living in Hefei, I might feel like taking a vacation. I would like to check what kind of transportation suits most and what kind of transportation form is available for a tourist. And if my family members are living in another place, can I reach them through a certain kind of transportation? There is a Chinese saying that goes like, if you want to get rich, you need to fix a road first. That works the same for the transportation. Well, compared with the road traffic, the low altitude air traffic is more convenient because there is no traffic jam. It's more clean. And there is a lot of space to be explored in the air traffic. And I think as time goes by, our ecosystem of the air traffic will develop even better. So, dear audience, we are doing a test of the low altitude air of a plane. Actually, before each flight, our staff will come and check the facility to ensure it's safe and sound. And that is one necessary step of before the flight. Now the staff is checking and examining the facility. In front of us is the warehouse of the airplane or the parking lot. It's quite close to what we understand as an ordinary airport. We have all the functions that an ordinary airport has. We have the fire control room. We have the facility control room. On the second floor, we have a commanding center. We have a commanding operation center. We have 30 staff working on this place, from the front end to the rear end, covering the whole life cycle of this plane flight. The staff just now outside this place is checking the exterior part of the plane. But in this area, the plane will also do a self-examination. Some problems cannot be detected by a naked eye of a human. So we have designed for the airplane to do self-check. That is one part of the artificial intelligence. If there are some interior problems inside the plane, we cannot find them easily, so we rely on the airplane to detect it by themselves. Well, as you can see, the shape of this plane is contains of plane room and also a cabin and also several legs. Actually, it can accommodate 2 people. And you can see the number of this plane on its body. Where 90% of China's passenger cars accommodate 2 people. If you go online service for the cars, and not so many people go for a business car like a GL8. So with this mode, we can contain the operation cost and human cost to a low level. Because we are embracing the market, we need to do a survey about the whole market and what the market really wants. So we don't need a large airplane. If we produce a larger plane, our cost will rise. So I think this small airplane will accommodate the needs of our people for daily use, and it will be very convenient. You know, in big cities, the traffic jam is really bad. If you want to go to the airport for a business trip, then you might be caught in a traffic jam. But with this airplane that takes you through a low altitude flight, you will not be bothered by the traffic jam, and it maintains an average speed. I think it has a lot of application scenarios. For example, it can take the patients to the hospitals. Whenever you need it, it can take you to your dreamed place. So it's very featureless. In our daily life, I was always told by my friend, one of my friends said that a traffic jam happened on the road, and it's very hard for the ambulance to go through the traffic jam to take the patient, to take the injured to the hospital. But with this airplane, you can overcome the problem. You need just a very small space, and then the airplane will take off and take the injured to the hospital. So I was quite inspired by this small story. It has really a lot of application scenarios. So the low altitude economy is a large market. It will bring so many changes to our daily life. Well, this airplane is quite different from what we saw just now. It was for the transportation purpose, for transportation of our cargo purpose. And the first advantage is that it saves the space. If you want some high efficiency of the flight, you might sacrifice the security. But this airplane overcomes the problem and quite meets the needs of our people. If with this airplane on the same place, we can accommodate 30 such airplanes, because each of them has a small size. Apart from these, we also have the cargo airplanes. Actually, these cargo airplanes has been applied in many scenarios. We are still improving the technology. We think they have a large market demand. For example, the logistical need is very large. In some places, it's very hard for people, especially the aged people, to carry on the logistics themselves. So they have problems with carrying the logistics and also the trash. That's how we can apply these airplanes, especially in some scenic spots like Huangshan. But there is a problem with the sustainability of its electricity. So we invented a solid model battery of this airplane. And that has improved the application models of this airplane. So the development of the battery has helped a lot and enlarged its application scenarios. The solid battery has enabled the airplane to fly in air for another 30 minutes when it reaches its weight carriage limit. So you can see the technology is still developing, the industrial chain, the supply chain is moving forward. So this kind of airplane is developing just like the new energy vehicles. And Hefei is the leading city, the ¡1 city in the development of new energy vehicles. Actually, I have a question. Why do you develop the low-altitude economy in Hefei City instead of other cities? Well, from my own understanding, I think Hefei is a very tolerant city in terms of innovation, development of industry. And the Hefei City aims for improving the scenarios of applications. So if you do not provide such a good facility, you will not be able to encourage the application of the industrialization. And Hefei has allowed for the certification of this low-altitude flight. So the commercialization is the first step. As we improve the scenarios of application, Hefei has sped up in the development of the low-altitude economy. We have attracted 300 enterprises in the low-altitude economy to stay in Hefei. Apart from this park, Hefei also encourages the testing of the low-altitude flight sightseeing, like the urban commute through the low-altitude economy. Well, this board shows the future plan of the air economy in Hefei. The low-altitude flight will take you from one place to another for sightseeing purpose. So you can see we have a strong network of the scenic spots enabled by the low altitude economy. And also we will enable the transportation of fruits like grapes, and also or carry the necessities for hospitals like blood. Hefei is famous for housing the high-tech companies. We also will provide these low-altitude flights for connecting the South high-speed rail station. Well, for security concern, Hefei aims for the administration of the whole air service network. So we have been doing this work for 1 year, and a specific plan will be outlined lately. So you will read how this network works and how system works in the future. Well, thank you, Madam Li, for taking us on a tour in this park and giving us the knowledge about the low-altitude economy. Actually, Hefei plans in the next 3 years to establish a network of low-altitude flight and will build 30 spots for the low-altitude flight. So the scenarios will continue to expand and application will continue to grow and will continue to improve the life of our local people. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching today's live stream. I think it will go to the end, but stay tuned with us with Hefei. Thank you.